My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2 on our free play Let's Play game mode. Where we last left off, we had just built this lovely little cargo station here that is going to be servicing Morley Plastics and delivering the refined oil that they demand so they can produce the plastics that we need to start producing goods to ship into the various towns around our network. Before I get started, I just want to say two things. First of all, I'm hoping... Oh, we got some unlocks. Well, that's distracted me. So we've got the Russian class OB, the PLM 220, the DMG Kanstat, and the Putilov passenger carriage. So, at some point in the very near future, we're going to have to check and see whether we could utilise any of those unlocks on our existing network. Back to what I originally was going to say, and that is, and this might seem a bit silly, but over the past few days, I've received my first batch of subscribers. And while it's not a lot, and that is not a complaint in any way, shape or form, I still wanted to personally thank everybody who did subscribe. It does mean a great deal. I really am appreciative of your support and your public support for the channel and the videos. It does mean a lot. It's nice to know that at least some of you out there are enjoying the series, whether it be this one or the Mass Effect Let's Play walkthrough. Either way, whatever you're here for, I'm glad you are, and I just want to say thank you. If I could, I would reach through the monitor and shake your hand, but I can't, so you'll just have to take these thanks as gratitude enough. Now, the other thing I wanted to say was I've recently got a 4K monitor. I'm not sure if this is going to make a difference in the recording quality. I hope it does. It looks a lot better from where I'm sitting, obviously in front of the monitor. So if it makes it that little bit better for you viewers as well, that's obviously a bonus. I just want to do whatever I can to make the content as enjoyable as I possibly can. So with those two messages out of the way, let's zoom out from the cargo station we put outside Morley Plastics factory. And the first thing we're going to do is check the new unlocks and whether there's anything we could utilise them for. So if we just pick on the first train we see, which is this machinery train that runs from Bridgewater to Stoke, and we shall see if the new train is any sort of upgrade. Oh, well, in fact, no, not that train. I want one where it's got two trains, so you can have a direct side-by-side comparison. Come on, logging freight, there we go. So if we go to edit both of these vehicles, and then we can have them side-by-side, or on top of one another, I suppose, technically, and we can then do a direct comparison between the new trains and the old. So the first one we got was the PLM 220. This has a top speed of 37, however the wagons are limited to 31. In terms of the power rating, it's an extra 150 kilowatts on ahead of the, what do we have there, the Class PV. Its tractive effort is 75 kilonewtons, and that plays off against 60 kilonewtons, so that's also an improvement. The emissions are neither here nor there. So if we just check what it does to our speeds, we get up to top speed faster on flats. We now also hit top speed on a medium grade, which we weren't before, and at high grade we can now do 20 miles an hour instead of 16. So we know that the PLM is going to be a better train. However, is it as good as the Class OB? Let's have a look. Well, the power rating for the OB isn't quite as high. However, it does get up to speeds faster, and it reaches higher speeds on the grades. That is obviously because it has a higher tractive effort of 95 against 75. Again, the top speed is the same, but that's largely irrelevant. So I think it's actually not a bad idea to go ahead and invest in some Russian class OB trains on our major freight lines, because they're the ones that are earning us the money, and if we can give them a little more advantage, then it's obviously going to pay off in the long run. Okay, so we're back. I have upgraded several trains, not all of them. There's no point to upgrade them all just yet. The others are working just fine. I just went for the main money earners because having better trains on them is going to stand us in good stead. Now, we want to continue on with our plastics factory and supplying that with plastics. We have a train or 2 trains on the way. In fact, I will also change these ones. I didn't do that in the initial pass through, so I'll just quickly do that now and make sure they're correctly coloured as well. So there we go. So they should be on their way down now. Let's just see if we can locate one of them. Okay, they're not too far away, which is excellent. So they're making their way down now. They're just about to pass the machines factory at Bridgewater. So it shouldn't be too long before they hit the pickup point and start shipping the refined oil, which is already starting to build up on the platform, which is excellent news. And then they'll start dropping it off here. Now, what we need to do next is find a way to get the plastics from the chemical plant over these this little mountain ridge here and into the goods factory. Now, the easiest way is going to be a train. However, it could be quite costly and also a little bit of a logistical dance because we've got quite a significant difference in elevation between where the 2 stations either would be sitting or are currently sitting. For example, Morley Plastics is up at around about 135 metres elevation, whereas the goods factory is all the way down at just above sea level with 7.6. So the trains in a relatively shortish distance would have to lose over 120 metres of elevation. Now, we could do that by having a train line that sort of snakes downwards and goes through a few S-curves to kill off as much gradient as we can and increase the distance over which we're losing the gradient with a view to bringing it in down at 7 metres where the goods factory is. The other option would be to run a road up to here and have the plastics delivered via road vehicles. I think for now that might be the option I go for, simply because it keeps the network diverse and we're not just having trains do every single line that we have within our network. We get to mix it up a little bit and it just keeps it a little bit more interesting, and it means that we have to pay attention to our vehicle unlocks in terms of road vehicles, and we don't just have to ignore them because we're not using them. So we'll do that. So we'll run this road up through these this little valley there, and then if we bring it out this way, trying to keep it sort of natural looking as best I can. That doesn't look too bad so far. And then we'll put, in fact, if it gives me one, I'll put, yes, that's what I wanted. Just a little road tunnel there, just to add a bit of variety. And then if we just nicely connect it in to the existing road, what we're going to need then are a couple of truck stations so that they can pick up and drop off the goods that they're transporting, mainly plastics. So we shall put one of them just there, and we'll install the other one just outside the goods factory, and we'll have this as a double platform just like the one up top. The one at the top doesn't need to be double, but this one, because we're also going to be transporting the goods away from here at some point, it is an idea to have the second platform there ready so it's future proofed and ready to go. So let's just change the name of these 2 stations so we know what they are. This is Morley Plastics, or Morley Plastic, no, that's going to bug me, Morley Plastics. And the second one is Morley Goods. There we go. Now we can set up a line between those 2 stations. Plastics is a sort of purplish colour, a bluey purple, I believe. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, I like that. So Morley Plastics is going to be fully loaded with plastic, and then when he gets down to Morley Goods, he's going to unload everything he has. As always, I'm going to set it to unlimited wait time because there's no danger in doing that. So this is our plastics haulage, and this stays within Morley's sphere of influence, so we'll just call it Morley. We need a depot, a local depot. We do have one over there, but it's a bit of a distance for the trucks to make their way out, so there's no harm in dropping a dedicated one somewhere along the route like that. And then we want to purchase some trucks. We can look at the CanStat, which we just unlocked. It's the, also we've got the Landauer, which I believe is a passenger bus unlock, so we'll check that out in a second as well. At the minute we're using these horse-drawn carriages which do 12 mile an hour and carry 5. This one is 16 miles an hour, so big difference, and a massive difference in the power, which is ideal because this is quite a mountainous run that it's going to be running, so we want every advantage we can get. And could we afford 50 straight off the bat? So we've got a constant, in fact no, 50 is probably overkill. We'll go 25, just under £1 million, that's not a problem, we can afford that. Fill them in the colour, and then assign them to that line. Now, we've just unlocked that new bus, so let's go ahead and see how different, or what difference it makes to our existing fleet. So let's pick on Bridgewater, which are still using horse and cart. Not every city is. So if we wanted to replace these vehicles with the Landour, not quite sure how to pronounce that. I do apologise if it's all kinds of wrong. The other one we have is the Obedient, which does 11 miles an hour and runs at 4 kilowatts. So this one's faster, high capacity and more power. So let's go ahead and swap all of those out straight away on all of our bus lines that we have on our network. Let's make it a bit simpler, we'll just do that. So we're only looking at our buses. We don't need to do Bridgewater as we have just done it. And I believe that's all of our buses, yes it is. So if we wanted to swap them all out, it would cost us just over £500,000, which isn't bad at all. So we'll do that now. And in fact, what I'm going to do, I've been meaning to do it for a while, and I did touch on it last time, but I was reluctant because of the money cost, is swap the maintenance now to very high for the bus services. I'll also go ahead and do the same with our metro services, our trams in our cities. Let's upgrade them to very high. And what the heck, I'm also going to do it on any delivery lines that we have, because the deliveries obviously do go into the cities. And if we have noisy, ugly trucks coming through, it's going to impact the emissions and restrict our city growth, which is not something we want to do. Haulage, not haulage, we do need delivery though. Is that all of them? I believe it is, and in fact, what the heck, let's just go ahead and give them the new can stats as well. Just under 3 million, we can comfortably afford it, so we'll do it. Set the maintenance to very high. Didn't need it immediately because all the condition is now reset to very good, as they're obviously new vehicles, but at least now it's done, we don't have to worry about it. There's also an argument to make about doing the same for our passenger lines, as they get quite close to the cities, but given that they're not as frequent or in this area as much as the buses are, I'm going to do the trains at a later point, I think. Okay then, so yes, our trains are now arriving at the appropriate platform over at the Stoke Oil Refinery. In fact, the first train is just departing now after picking up a full load, with the second train hot on its heels just coming around the corner. How much do we have on platform? 79, so there is enough for an immediate full load. Whether he sets off immediately or waits to space out a little bit remains to be seen. I'd hope he would wait until this train has perhaps got as far as the drop-off point before he leaves here. That way they'll be nicely spaced out, one at either platform, so we have a more consistent drop-off at the plastics factory. Now we have a lot of crowding here in Stoke, but we have recently, as recently as 2 minutes ago in fact, just upgraded the buses that are running these lines, so it might be worth just sitting on that for a while and seeing if these extra capacity increased speed buses do make a difference and start to shift those passengers off the stops and the platforms, so we don't have that issue. How are we doing over here? Okay, this number has come down because at one point it was in the mid-hundreds, which was quite surprising in a good way, so that's clearly addressed itself. In fact, I tell a lie, it was this one here, which has only got worse. We're now up to almost 200 people waiting to get on the train to Bridgewater. That is extremely impressive. And most of them actually are going straight through onto Morley. So that makes me question whether we should have an express service between Coventry and Morley, just to alleviate the burden on our stopping service. Where are all you? If most of you are going to Coventry, yes you are. That to me says there is scope for an express line that bypasses Bridgewater entirely and just shoots straight round. It can share the same track because the trains are going to be operating at a similar speed. All it means is we're not going to get clogged up with passengers here. Not that they're obviously clogging up, they're all valid passengers. But the guys who are waiting to come between Coventry and Morley are not going to have any problems finding a seat on the train, let's put it that way. Right, so to facilitate that, we're going to want a bypass line around the station at Bridgewater. So we want to branch off nice and early, which means we can keep good speeds. Like that, 66 miles an hour is perfectly okay. And because I set them to snap to that track, they're going to create a nice level crossing point there, which is excellent. Let's keep him flat, and he wants to arc off a little just towards the river with a view to bypassing this station here. So let's send him that way. I mean, we could put a flying platform in and have it pass through the station. Oh, don't do that. Pass through the station, but it's just as well just to go around the station on a dedicated separate line. Okay, you're quite elevated there, so you're gonna have to come down just a touch, my friend. Say like even more than that perhaps. It is quite a long stretch of track this, so it's got time to bleed off the elevation without being too much of an encumbrance on our trains. And then we want them to, if they join in, say around here, like this. How bad is that going to look? It's a little bit wibbly wobbly, a bit spaghetti-fied, but what the heck? I'll go with it. Then we need to put some signals on here. We put one. If we put them level with that signal there, that's fine. And then if we put a signal there just to clear the path for any trains waiting down here. And then we'll have more signals up here. And then we'll put some more just at the next junction just down here for when it joins on back onto the main passenger line. There we go. And again, we'll just put a little distance there so the trains can send a clear signal back to the junction and anybody waiting can be released quicker. There we go. So let's set up this express line. We are going from Coventry just straight through to Morley, like so. You've opted to use your own platform there. I don't think you could have done that in Coventry as we only have two. So before we fine-tune this line, let's go ahead and add some more planks, tracks and platforms in at Coventry Station. Not planks, they don't run on planks. Well, I suppose the sleepers are made of wood for now. Okay, what do we want here? We want passenger platforms all the way down, like so. We do need an underpass so they can get over to this platform, like that. Oh no, we need the one with assets. I made a mistake there. Where's the one that has the benches and such like? Oh, they're in miscellaneous. Of course they are. Passenger underpass. There we go. And one there. There we go. Ah, maybe I'll put a roof on this station in Coventry. See how this will look. Well, that just looks beautiful. Let's go ahead and extend this down the entire length of Coventry Station. And while it may not be the most era appropriate station anymore, it does look very, very nice and more befitting for a capital city, quote unquote, train station. Okay, so now we need to connect the platforms that we just laid into the passenger line, and again we'll run them parallel initially so it forces its hand in creating a nice flat smooth junction. Let's put a signal on each of those, and we want a crossing diamond here. Doesn't matter so much about the speed because the trains are coming to a stop anyway at this platform, or they're just leaving this platform where they haven't yet built up a head of steam. There we go. So now let's return to that line, which is still called line 1. We hadn't changed it yet. We can do it now. And at Coventry, you now take platform 3, please. Excellent. And this is our express service from Coventry and between Coventry and Morley. There we go. We need to get a train assigned to that new line. So let's see, what's the fastest we have? 47, the Mogul. Let's go for the Mogul then. After all, if we're going for express, we may as well go full express. We shall go for the passenger car with clear story, as it's the higher capacity, but the same speed as the Putilov. Why is he... Oh, yeah, limited, because that's the train speed, 47. Maybe if we just have 3... Yeah, but we'll have multiple trains. Say 3 of them. Yeah, we'll have 3 express trains. Could always add more or remove. Even, yeah, we could even remove some later if we needed to. They are coloured white. I believe that's what colour the line was. Or was that more of a grey? Is it more like that? No, it's white. At least it is to my eye. As I said, I am colourblind, so it could actually be pink. Who knows? I certainly don't. No, I can't tell the difference between white and pink. The colour blindness isn't that bad, and it's not how that works for me. Okay, so hopefully some of these might even start shifting platform now onto the express line. If they just take a glance at the arrivals board and the departures board, they'll see there's hopefully a faster service and a more suitable service for them to start using. Let's see if they do start moving over. Nothing as of yet. It might just take a few moments for the path finding to upgrade to update itself. Okay then. So our trucks have clearly picked up some plastics, which means our train arrived there. Did they space themselves out as I hoped they would? No, not really. This one's still quite hot on the... Well, not hot on the heels, but he's a little closer to him than I would like him to be. Hopefully they will naturally space out over time, but we shall see. So this is looking good. Let's just have a quick look at our lines in total. Let's just extend this outwards, or upwards, I suppose is the correct direction. That gives us a better view of our lines. So we've got a lot of profitable lines, as you can see. However, we also have a fair few non-profitable lines. However, 3 of those we've only just constructed, so they may take a while. Likewise, this fuel line, I don't think that's truly got rolling yet, so that might change once things develop up there. To that end, let's go have a quick look at the state of play on this production line. Okay, so we have 3 ships heading down, so they've clearly picked up the crude oil from Quinterel Downs Oil Well Port. Are they all fully laden? They should be. Yes, yes, and indeed yes. So they'll be heading here. Did I have 4 ships on there? Where's the 4th ship? I thought I put 4 on. Ah, there he is. He's heading back as well. Have any of them made any sort of deliveries yet? Let's check the finances. No, and no. And no. And go ahead, let's have a guess. No. Which means these trucks haven't made any profit or deliveries yet, so there's no point checking them. Neither have the ones that deliver the final fuel into Gillingham, so there's no point checking on them. Bridport, if you... Oh no, so I thought they were the larger of the 50-person icons. They're not. I was going to say Bridport, if you could just calm down, but you're absolutely fine. Just continue what you're doing. Ignore me. I am talking out of my arse. Okay, now we do have some uptake on the express service. Let's go have a look at one of our express trains. Here's one now. If we just turn or hide the user interface, it gives us a much nicer look. We have to do something about this little, it's almost like a dry stone wall that is put in there. Well, I must say they look absolutely splendid. They really do. Shall we get on board the loco in the cabin view and have a true proper look? Yes, that colour scheme looks amazing. I couldn't think of an appropriate superlative. The high contrast between the black and white and the gold stenciling is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Even if they don't make any money, I'm happy with just how they look. The passenger cars look like they've just been stored outside in a snowstorm, but that's okay. I must say it looks quite luxurious. Yes, extremely pleased with that. They could do with a bit more paint sprayed onto the cowcatcher at the front, but that's okay. We shall just have to fire the foreman. Let's go underground. Let's not sing the song though. Okay, here we are. In fact, let's just get right on the front. There we go. We've got quite a few passengers. Well, I say quite a few. It's probably about a dozen, maybe 2 dozen waiting at platform 3. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now arriving at platform 3 is the express no stopping service to Morley. I'd make a rubbish train announcer, wouldn't I? Don't give up the day job. Moving swiftly on, and the emphasis being on swiftly. Let's not dwell on that any longer than we have to. Gillingham, you are looking absolutely fine. Just double check our... No, don't double check our lines. We've just done that. For God's sake, man. Pay attention. They're not there yet. Oh, that's what we should... So sidetracked here with that pretty train. The goods. We need to get steel down here. What is the best solution for getting the steel down? I think I might try something I've never really done before. I do it with passengers, passenger stations and passenger terminals. Never done it with cargo. What I'm thinking of doing is having a line that runs out this way somewhere. Having a cargo station... I might even run it over to the far side of the mountains. Yeah, basically having road vehicles run to a truck station here to unload plastics when they produce plastics and return after picking up some steel, and have it almost like a dropping point, similar to like a warehouse that you can use in Railway Empire. Obviously you don't have warehouses in Transport Fever 2, but using that sort of system would be quite similar to using a warehouse. And then, rather than having to run a freight line all the way through this mountainous and rather uneven terrain, we could just run it as far as here and have some road vehicles handle the rest. Would that be viable? Never tried it. Shall we try it? Yes, we shall. Okay, so, where shall we put... In fact, if we make it a terminus station as well, that'd be even better. Don't know why it would. Just saying it would. Don't know what that is. Ah, we've got the fancy mod train depot. I'll put that down at some point, actually. It'd be nice to have a grand depot, shall we say. Okay, where is a nice place to put this without it cutting half of the earth away? Perhaps if we put it up here. Along there. And then the trains just sweep over the river and connect into the freight line over the river. Could work. Yes, I'm committed. Now, will this... Yes, it's going to need more platforms, but we can configure it manually later. So let's get the track laying tool. Run him out flat just a little to begin with. Where's the freight line? Here you are. Which one is it? It's this one, isn't it? Yes. So we want to connect in... Although we could connect... Yeah, we'll connect it into this one here and loop it around like that. That's probably the best and most logical solution. How high will that be if we keep the same grade? Let's have a look. It's going to be very high because it's given us a viaduct. So let's drop it down just a scooch. Or a lot, you know, whichever. Maybe like that sort of height. And then we'll keep him flat. No, flat please, sir. And we'll have it as an... Oh my good night. It's like we're making an artificial ski slope there. Can you please go flat, as you have been asked? Thank you. We could have a... no. We'll keep him coming down just a fraction. Like that. And then flat across the river. So we have a high enough bridge that the water remains navigable. There we go. Could even give him a little arch or hump back if we wanted to. What bridge do we want? That one again? I like that one. This is perfect timing. Watch your foremast. Watch your funnel. Let's raise it up a little higher then. Can't go much higher than that. We could just ignore that and pretend that doesn't happen, because it looks quite nice. Let's suppose we're going to have to compromise at some point. And then carry on, not flat, you can raise up a little. If you sweep around that way, and then you can double back on yourself almost into the main line. It's quite an elevation change there. Does it make a nasty looking junction? Let's check both sides. It's not too bad at all, actually. It's just take the edge off a little. That'll do me. I'm happy with that. So, same again. Dual track all the way around. Back over the river. And into the station. And let's see how that performs and if it's going to be a viable option or if I've just wasted a metric ton of money. Say like that. Okay. So now we can get the steel from here, along here, down and around there and into there. We'll put a truck station here connected to a road and they can then ship the steel by road to the goods factory, and then they can bring the goods back here and we'll have a second train what delivers from here to places such as Bridgewater. Stoke also requires goods, Ripley and so forth. You get the idea. Like I said, it's along the similar veins of the setup that I use when it comes to putting the passenger stations in and around the cities, where I have them away from the cities with a public transport service heading out to the stations in order to get the passengers in and out as quickly as we can. Just set up the signalling on this line while I'm talking shite. Yep, they're both the right way. Let's cross here. Cross. Stopping. Signalling there. Swear to God. Sometime. Oh, just pay attention, man. Getting quite annoyed at myself with this. Started off so lovely as well, you know, with a little thank you to all the subscribers who joined. Oh, we've got the San Diego electric trolley. We'll check that out in a few moments. And here I am getting angry at a train signal. Or rather myself, who can't put the train signals in correctly. Where do you want that one? There. There we go. Okay, so we need the truck station out here. And we can... if we have him there, so they have a connection, and then go into here and configure it. Get rid of that for now. We'll obviously put it back in a few moments, but I want to extend the cargo platforms out a little more. There we go. No, even further. And the reason for this is the trains carry a hell of a lot more than the trucks can, so I want to make sure there's enough room for a full unload from the train to hit the platform without vanishing into wherever it goes if your platform's overloaded. Okay, now we want a street connection from here, and should we just connect into this street here? Would that work for us? Yes, because then we could junction off here and come that way. That'll do just nicely. Sort out the train afterwards with a bit of smoothing and what have you. And then you want to branch off this way. Head towards the forest that's not surrounded by any trees. See, that just looks weird having that there, because you've actually got genuine forest that the game has generated, like a stone's throw away, but you decided, no, I'm going to chop down this copse of trees here, and that'll be enough. Balls to your forest, I'm marching to the beat of my own drum. Well, good for you. Anyway, getting angry at forests now. So this is not Bridgewater Exchange. Oh no, Bridgewater Cargo Exchange is actually a really good name for it. It's not Bridgewater Annex though. So we'll put it as the same name as a truck station, Cargo Exchange. And then what we want is we can use that road depot there, that's fine. This line, for now we'll just deliver the steel. We don't have to, we can modify the line later to make sure it picks up the goods on a return journey. So if you go fully loaded with steel, and then unload your steel at Morley Goods Station, and this is steel freight, was it Bridgewater to Morley, it's unidirectional. There we go, steel freight Bridgewater to Morley. Let's get, we're going to need a lot of vehicles for this. We've got 10 million. Can we afford 50 of them? We certainly can. fill them in a silverish sort of colour. Assign them to the line. And now we need to build a train. Or, well, first we need to do a line from Ripley Steel Mill to the cargo exchange. Why can't... So you can get there, but you can't get back. Did I drop a bollock on one of the signals? Ah, it's... Yes, okay. So we need to double track this part. Okay, so now that I know where the error is, let's just disregard those waypoints that I was putting in. Get the track tool back out and have something like this. That was quite nice. I quite like that. And then can I slip it in naturally? Oh, absolutely beautiful. Forget I said anything. That's ever so slightly horrendous. Quickly pause it, and I need to... I'm going to have to rework both of them because it's snapping to the existing track, and that's why it's gone all hurdy-gurdy. Right, straight off please. Keep your elevation neutral. That's better. As is that, and then you can do, you know, please yourself for the next part. Don't really care. There we go, that's a lot better. So now then, the line should be nice and happy with us, and we should be able to get the train up and running and get the steel dropped off at the cargo exchange over in Bridgewater. Just put a signal there like that. Okay, so if we go back to the line manager, where is it? Line 1, manage the line. Yes, you're now delighted with what we're asking you to do. You're taking steel, which is that sort of colour-ish. Load. For now you can just unload, but perhaps in future we can have him return with plastic somewhere, but for now that's good enough. This is steel freight, and this goes from Ripley to Bridgewater cargo exchange. There we go. The reason I had to put cargo exchange is because I remembered we already have an existing line called steel freight Ripley to Bridgewater, and I didn't want to get confused, which is easily done. Okay, we need a train assigned to this, so we'll go for the Class OB, which we've determined is the better option, or the best train available to us right now. And you need flat car with stake side, which is the better one, that one. Just keep going. Couple more. Couple more. You're going to be a fairly beastie. That'll do. That only costs, I say only, just under £6 million. We can absorb that. I won't say comfortably, but we can. Let's assign him onto that line, and then we want to name the train as he comes out, which gives us the perfect opportunity to indulge ourselves in a little bit of eye candy. Are you coming? Where's he gone? Oh, I paused it. What a tit. Here he comes. Let's name him. He is Steel, and he is Ripley to Bridgewater Cargo Exchange. Let's just hitch a ride for a few moments and have a look at him. I'm still not keen when the paint job is a complete 100%-ish overall paint job, although I do like the silver trim on the wheels. That's quite nice. Just hide in the long grass. Watch out for raptors. Yes. He looks quite splendid, if you don't mind the look of being dropped in a complete vat of silver paint. He's a bit of a long one, isn't he? It's got to be our longest train on the network. Gets up to speed nice and quickly. Well, he's at 29 miles an hour. His back end isn't clear of the junction yet. Still coming out. Oh, there he is. He's now clear. I'm pleased with that. I'm not sure why that light is, you know, breaking some sort of photon. I don't know, just stop and just get off the train. Just pretend it didn't happen. Right, so that's taken care of. Now we shall see whether this is a good idea or whether I've just pissed about £10 million up the wall. Could go either way at the minute. I'm hopeful it'll work. It's not going to be the most efficient thing in the world, but just for something a little bit different, I thought I'd give it a try. So we'll wait to see how that pans out and develops. How are things going over here? How much do you make on each drop-off? Oh, well over 15k. That's not bad. We're not running the platform too dry, and we're also at the same time we're not overloading it. What does the plastic look like? It looks like bags of plaster. British gypsum. That's not the. Yeah, it looks more like, you know, bags of cement, but no, it's plastic because it even says it on there, plastic, so it must be true. Okie dokie. Moving on. Let's have a quick look under our tunnel. Woo! Hello! Lovely. Sorry about that. So they're now dropping off, so he's absorbing the plastic. He's not doing anything with it at the moment, not until he gets his steel as well. We've got a lovely convoy here. There's a song in there somewhere of our Kanstats heading off to the newly created exchange. This could be the biggest money sink I've ever done, or it could be a nice little feature. As I said, it's not going to be the most efficient thing, but just for keep things unique and different, and you know, just looking a bit more, yeah, unique and different. There's no way to put it really. It might be a nice little thing we've done there. So, what are you doing in terms of line sharing then? I guess this is you. You're going to be one of these ones here, aren't you? Yes. You're on platform number 4. So there could be a time when you are interfering with this line here, which is our Bridgewater Bridge. Correct that quickly. Bridgewater machinery line. So this time I'm going to put like a flying platform on this station rather than just doing a proper bypass, if that makes sense. So we'll put one track in for now. It can be omnidirectional, and we'll have. No, don't do that. You've just ballsed everything up there. Let's have our track. Can we sneak him in there? We most certainly can. And can we then get him onto here? Too much curvature. There is a point there. It is. Like that. And what we're going to need then is a signal to serve as a waypoint here. So then if we amend this line's route, so instead of going to Ripley signal 16 after the machine's factory, instead you head to that signal there. That's the one. And are you coming back that way? No, you're not, because you've been waypointed to head down that way. So let's do that. There we go. Now he won't get delayed by any steel trains that are waiting at the platform. Okay, we have our first pallet full of steel ready to go. Some lovely girder sections there. How are you doing in terms of raw materials? You're running short on iron, but you're overwhelmed. You're absolutely swimming in coal. Not something I would advise. Not that many people would, you know, think, hey, I know, I'm going to go swim in some coal. So do we need more iron trains? More than likely, yes. Can we afford them? Probably. How many can we afford? Can we afford another 2? Let's do it. Come on. Be brave. Yes. Let's rename these. So this is iron ore. Coventry. Copfantry. That's not how that is. Neither is that. Coventry to Ripley 03. And this little bugger is iron ore. Coventry to Ripley. Reply. Ripley 04. There we go. So that should help the output at the steel mill a little. How or what. Ooh, getting even busier. So a lot of people are still waiting for the... now people are just going to Bridgewater instead. Well, that's fine. That's not a problem because there'll be less people getting on to go to Morley in theory. So that's okay. Oh, you've made a profit anyway. Let's have a look. That's not bad at all. For something that I thought may have been a bit of a cash burner, it's doing quite well. I'm quite pleased with that. Where's our other express line? Is that him there crossing the bridge? It is. Let's have a look at him as he crosses this bridge. Get rid of the UI. Let's sit on the bridge railing. Ish. Watch him come past. Hello, sir. Bit close there. And off he goes. Fantastic. Right. I think that's probably a decent place to end this episode. We, in theory, have started production over here once the materials start arriving. We've tried something different to get the steel in and out. Whether it works or not remains to be seen. I hope it will. I'm not too concerned if it doesn't make money hand over fist. It's just to keep things a bit interesting and a bit different. So we'll see what happens. So, I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Transport Fever 2 on our Coventry-based map. If you have, please feel free to leave a like or a comment or even subscribe. We've just unlocked 2 new vehicles. Talk about perfect timing. So what I'll do, I'll take a hint and pause the game at the moment, and we'll take a look at those after in the next episode, which will be episode 15, I believe. I think so. May not be. Yes, it will be 15. So, as I was saying, yes, please feel free to leave a like or a comment down below. And if you're feeling especially generous, you may also consider subscribing to the channel as well, so you get to keep fully up to breast with further developments in this series and future series that may be planned, including one I started yesterday, which is a playthrough of the campaign mode for Transport Fever 2. Feel free to check that out. I'll put a link to that in the description and probably on one of the interactive video cards as well. So, all that being said, all that remains for me to say, as always, is take care of yourself, guys. It's ta-ta for now.